The Irish Tourist Assistance Service assists tourists with problems arising from all types of crime, from thefts to serious assaults. Tourists are particularly vulnerable after a crime. They are in unfamiliar surroundings, and their problems can be compounded by language, cultural and legal difficulties.
A good example of the type of assistance that we can provide is that we recently assisted a South African couple who had their money, their passports and airline tickets stolen. They arrived at the office and they had absolutely nothing, they had no money.
Hello, we have one of your citizens here who needs a temporary document. Can we arrange to send them out?
We organised with the airline to have their tickets rescheduled as they were due to travel to London to visit family before catching the flight home. So the airline reissued their tickets at no extra cost. We organised with the local hotel for complimentary accommodation and meals, and we made an appointment with the embassy who fast-tracked their passports so they were able to catch their flight the next day. They were extremely grateful for the support that they received from our service, but also from the tourist industry as well.
The success of the service depends on extensive support coming from a cross-section of tourism-related enterprises and bodies by way of direct funding and benefit in kind. The Irish tourism industry benefits greatly from the service, and it is in everyone's interest to support this worthwhile charity.
Also central to the effectiveness of the service is the relationship with the Gardaí. The majority of referrals to the service come through the Gardaí. This is not only to prevent abuse of the service, but also to ensure that tourists receive the best possible assistance after the crime.
Could you just explain to me, Marie, what was in your bag? We'll get in touch with people that can help, all right?
If the crime has occurred in Dublin, tourists will generally visit the office. Assistance to tourists outside Dublin is by telephone, and contact is maintained until all problems are resolved. If the tourist needs to come to Dublin, this can be arranged.
I'd like to endorse the work being done by the Irish Tourist Assistance Service in all the work they're doing with any visitor to Ireland who unfortunately becomes a victim to crime. We find them to be professional, to be courteous, and also to be part of a wider network of support structures that are there for anyone who unfortunately becomes a victim of crime in Ireland. Any member of An Garda Síochána who comes across any tourist who becomes a victim of crime can be confident in referring them on to the Irish Tourist Assistance Service, knowing that all their needs will be catered for.
The value and contribution of the service can be seen from the fact that a large majority of tourists who contact the ITAS continue with their holidays and go home with an overall positive image of Ireland. From a tourism point of view, this is extremely important.
Violent attacks against tourists are rare, but unfortunately they do happen. We recently dealt with a young Italian who was the victim of a serious stabbing. He was hospitalised, and we organised one of our Italian volunteers to visit him and his family to offer support, and also for translation between him and the medical staff and the Gardaí. Due to the extent of his injuries, he could only travel home over land. So we organised through his insurance company his transport home. We also are assisting him with his application for compensation.
I believe that Ireland has a very low incidence of tourist crime. However, for those few who are unfortunate enough to require it, the service provides invaluable support. ITAS is one of only 3 services in Europe that offer specialist assistance to tourists, and this comprehensive service enables victims of crime to receive sympathetic and practical help to continue with their holiday plans.
The service is extremely grateful for the support it receives from the tourist industry and the Gardaí. However, for the future success of the service, it is vital that this support continues.